I brought back my 1948 combat boots because there's not a whole lot of videos about this specific boot. This will be about the history about the boot, and then most likely make another video talking about how I used these boots. I also brought a Corcoran field boot into the mix just to make some comparisons to clear up any, confusion. So, after World War II, the United States Army, most of their field shoes or service boots, most of their combat boots, most of them were the brown shoes, the ones that were about 6 inches tall, kind of like a Iron Ranger. And there's also the M43 double buckle service boot, which was sort of same height as these boots, but the top here was actually had a big ol' part that came around and buckled right about here. And the other boots I was mentioning were the M39 Type 2 service shoe or service boot. These boots were all based on the Munson last, which is this very wide and anatomical foot-shaped last. There was also another pair of boots, the M41 or M42 paratrooper boot or jump boot. These boots were all leather, featured a cap toe, were built on the Munson last, were usually about 10 inches tall, not 8, and they featured a Goodyear welt construction along with a nail down construction as well. However, those boots had rubber half soles that only went about where that third nail is down there. And they also had a angular heel. Angular in that sort of sense. The jump boot would have also had this 2 lines of stitching right across the instep that would have been to most likely reinforce or support the forefoot, the instep, or the ankle. The production boot started in 1948, and the first batch went from 1948 to around 1957. The first batch were in a brown pigmented leather. Such example of these boots should have been issued during the Korean War. However, not many pictures exist of them being used. The second batch that these boots are a part of went from 1958 to around 1963 or 62, these particular boots were made on the 9th week of 1961, and a reporting mark KU indicates these were made by the Sport Welt Shoe Company. These boots are a 9.5R, and they feature a diamond pattern sole provided by the Plymouth Rubber Company from Canton, Massachusetts, in which that company is still around today. These boots would have been around during the advisors era of the Vietnam War. However, there is also sort of a myth that these boots were used by paratroopers or airborne infantry or airborne cavalry. However, it's most likely that they were actual jump boots that were just painted black in a black pigment.